Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do the March 26th Spiritual Principle a Day in a meditation. I'm very tongue-tied today, so hopefully we can get through this one. It's entitled Creating Safety for All Members. We do our best to safeguard those who are vulnerable without making others feel uncomfortable. That comes from the Guiding Principles book, Tradition 3 for Groups. Many NA members have a complicated relationship with the concept of safety. It can conjure up the ideal of playing it safe, of being uncool. More profoundly, some of us come to NA never having known a real feeling of safety, or having known it only to have it torn away. During our using days, we were rarely safe, even when alone in a room with ourselves. Sometimes we witnessed or experienced terrible things, and that suffering left its mark. So, how do we practice safety as a principle in NA? And how do we strive to create a safe atmosphere of recovery while standing firm on the Tradition 3 proposal that all are welcome? One member shared, "Safety to me means feeling truly at home in the world. I never felt that until I sat in an NA meeting." That sense of belonging or having found our people is precious. Anonymity means we are all equal in NA, and we respect each other's privacy, integrity, and choices. We protect our equality by doing our best to provide every desperate and vulnerable member a safe place to recover. Without some sense of safety, it's hard to listen, even harder to participate, and our effectiveness is carrying our message of hope is diminished. A focus on safety enhances our group's stability by creating healthy places that neither tolerate predatory behavior nor drive out offending members. Everyone deserves a chance to recover. At its best, NA provides an environment where we can be safe and eventually feel safe too. This may be aspirational at times. Creating a safe and welcoming atmosphere in our meetings often takes careful consideration and thoughtful action. When bullying, unwelcome sexual advances, or other disruptive behaviors threaten to undermine our safety, we invite a loving higher power to direct our group conscience. Together, we find the courage to safeguard against harmful behavior, extending the promise of recovery to both the vulnerable and those of us who are still learning a new way to move through the world. We trust the process and do the next right thing. How am I participating in creating and maintaining a safe and welcoming environment for every addict seeking recovery? Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. This is a good meditation, and it's a serious meditation. I've had like plethora of thoughts while trying to read this meditation, and I think that it's really important to say that, generally speaking, I have found Narcotics Anonymous to be a safe place. Um, there are times when, if I reflect on the past, that I made it unsafe. with my violent behavior, my loud mouth and my violent behavior. And I'm very grateful that I was allowed, just by the nature of how this program works, to keep coming back. And grateful, even the people that would say keep coming back, that were being condescending when they said it. I appreciate hearing it, because sometimes you can just beat yourself up so much about whatever it is you've done publicly in a meeting. And someone saying that, even in a condescending way, will ring in your ears later. Keep coming back. And the truth of the matter is you're always welcome to keep coming back to Narcotics Anonymous. Now, I could have been banned or barred from going back to certain facilities, certain buildings, because usually Narcotics Anonymous, whoever the home group is, they have a contract. Unless they have their own building, they have a contract with whoever they're renting the space from. And there's certain stipulations in that contract. And they expect all members to not put their meeting place in danger with poor behavior, predatory behavior, violent behavior, bullying. And these are things that are oftentimes a part of who we are before we make it to the program and start to recover. So where's the balance when someone is the offending person and someone has been a victim to that behavior? Where's the balance? We always do the next right thing, right? We're not being asked to choose sides. We're being asked to make sure that our meeting places are safe. And sometimes that means that there has to be a business meeting about a certain person's behavior. And even sometimes a letter to be written about their behavior and the unacceptability of it, and our absolute unwillingness to allow it during our meetings and before or after, because we are responsible for that space, right? That space in keeping it safe. I've seen people stalk our meeting places. I've seen couples fight. I've seen women and men. I've seen men pull guns, in fact, over certain women in the meeting. And I remember having to set up a security system for a building that meetings were held in because of that very behavior, gun violence. And so nothing shocks me today, right? But it is our responsibility as a group to keep our meetings safe. So here's the question, guys, because I truly believe I've participated on both sides of this fence. I've made the meeting atmosphere uncomfortable and unsafe. And I've been in a position where I felt like I needed someone to protect me because of what was going on. And I felt unsafe in the meeting. What experience, strength, and hope do you have in this area? See, because it's not okay to just do the meditations and it's just a reading and me expounding. That's okay. That's great. I do it because I love to. But at the end of the day, it's going to always come back down to your response. How is it impacting you? Do you have a living experience with this topic? And if you do, what did you do? What part did you play? What did you do? Or what didn't you do? And what would you do differently to improve the outcome? And commit to that. That's it. That's it. Is there something going on And I really do have a problem with people that come to the meetings and try to sell drugs. Yeah. I think when that's found out, that needs to be dealt with, right? Let's hawk the meeting, knowing that we're in recovery to pass out pills and make deals on the side. And I just find that hawking, right? That predatory type spirit. I find that it's not always just sexual, sometimes it's financial, right? I find it very highly inappropriate. And so you figure out where you're at. Is something going on that you have information about and very few people actually do? Maybe it happened to you. We had a guy going around groping women outside the meeting and going into the meeting. He groped them. He had to be dealt with. He was exposed publicly. And I would say in many ways, things turned sour for him in his recovery because people aren't tolerant of that anymore. We don't have to put up with that anymore. This is recovery, and the rooms of recovery. We want them to be safe. If you're a person that is known for, these behaviors that are not acceptable, and you seem to, I don't want to say can't get a hold on it, but you're struggling with changing a certain behavior, seek outside help. I mean, there's a solution, right? There is a solution. Go get some outside help and start talking about your trauma, your own trauma that is triggering you to be abusive. Okay. If we can just keep it plain and simple, right? If you're a person that you know for a fact that you've made the meetings unsafe with your behaviors, people have complained and you just don't seem to be able to get a grip on the behavior. And the more people talk about it or point you out, the more angry you become and the more you do it. Go get some outside help. Get the help that you need before you're forced to get it. Because there's certain things that are illegal. And there's certain things that is better for you to get a hold of it before somebody else has to report you to authorities because of that behavior, right? Being in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous doesn't mean that we get to break the law, right? And we need people that are willing to stand up for what we represent to make sure that our rooms are safe. Now, family, I'm going to leave you with that. I hope that you receive those things that I've spoken. If you don't, just reread this on your own. It's pretty plain and clear to me. But sometimes there's areas that we're not really willing to let a meditation touch because we need to protect something. And usually it's our pride. And most of the time, that's a character defect acting out, right? So have a beautiful day on purpose. I intend to. I'm about to wake my boys up. This is spring break, and I'm going to do something with them before I take off to work for the day. You know what? If no one's told you today that they love you, I love you, and I believe in you. And I know for a fact that if you put your mind to it, there's just about nothing that you would not be able to accomplish. I believe in you, so go for it. Have a beautiful day.